Hi guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to revamp a computer. Well, this computer. Sometimes I get a computer from somebody to fix or for myself to use, and I always go through the machine, clean it up a bit and see if there's anything wrong with it. I know there's a hard drive missing from this, so that's why you see two even replacement drives, but sometimes you have a spare computer laying around, you can still use it, it's serviceable, and then you might be tempted to install something like Linux on it, Ubuntu or some variation of that. And to do that you first need to revamp or reconfigure to be able to reuse. Okay, first of all I have to make an apology for the video quality and audio sync. The last couple of videos there was a problem. I was using 25 frames per second and I've cut that back to 20 frames per second. 25 frames per second is European PAL standard. I like using standards, so that's what I tried first. But since there's a problem with the audio sync, I'm going back to 20 frames per second. Okay, I'll get these things out of the way. This is a SCSI controller that controls these drives. I had two of them lying around, and I'll talk about that in a bit. Yeah, it's fragile, so let's put it here. Okay. The first thing we're going to look at is the computer itself. This is a tower model, so the proper orientation for it would be like this. Let's see. Yeah, you can see DVD drive here, CD drive, well, a CD burner here, floppy drive down here, and a couple of USB connectors here. On the back side of the computer I'm going to flip it over like this without pinching my fingers. You have here the motherboard. I can tell because it has an insertable bracket that's sometimes customized for a specific motherboard, the power supply unit, and insertable PCI cards that go into PCI slots. Well, this is an AGP video card, so it doesn't go into a PCI slot, but into an AGP slot. A couple of vent holes here too. These are usable for internal ventilators. I think they're 8 millimeters. I'm sorry, 8 centimeters in size, but they're not in here. I've cleaned this computer out with a compressor to get rid of all the dust. Okay. If you have a custom type computer case and you're unsure of how to open it, then you need to get the specs or the manual from the manufacturer. And also, if you're going to open up a computer, disconnect, I repeat, disconnect all the cables that run to it, especially this one. This is the power input, and the electricity goes through here, and inside of the computer electricity runs well, not as securely as on the outside. Let's call it that. It's plain dangerous, so don't play around with this stuff if you're unsure how to do these types of things. And they're not that difficult, but still, if you're unsure, don't do it. If there's something wrong with your computer, or if you want to basically reuse it and you need to get it checked out, then get it checked out at a reputable computer shop. These say disconnect any cable if you're opening it up, and if you're opening it up, look at where this insertable bracket is. The keyboard and mouse connectors are here, so then you should open up the other panel, well, the panel on the other side. I'm going to orientate it on the computer in a way so you can see most of it. I won't be in frame the entire time, at least some of the time. Most computer cases take a Phillips head screwdriver, and this computer came with, because it's second-hand to be frank, it came with thumb studs, screwable thumb studs, so I can just take them off like this. Okay, put them to the side, and then I'm pulling this panel off to that way and lifting it out. You can see the insides of the computer. Okay, let's identify a couple of things. First of all, the motherboard that's down there. It's a goldish tint, goldish brown. It's this size, just about. That's the main. That's the glue of the computer, one could say. It connects every piece of equipment and holds the CPU. Okay, here you have the CPU fan. Beneath that there's an aluminium, well in this case an aluminium cooling block, and beneath that there's the central processing unit, also known as the CPU. This is the power supply. These are, let's get you in frame. Yeah, these are the CD-ROM and the DVD drive. Here's the floppy drive we saw earlier when looking at this side of the computer. These are the insertable, okay, yeah. These are the insertable slots with their insertable cards, so okay, that's a funny one, but still. This is the video card, and the first thing I see when I look at this is that it has a card right next to it, and you won't be able to see it all that well, but I'm running my finger over it. So this card is directly next to the video card, and one shouldn't do it like that. Okay. Did we identify all parts? No. Here, and yeah, you can see it here. That's there's a reflective line down here. Anyway, that's the RAM. That's also an insertable card, and there are two of them. Here is one of them. There's the other one. Yeah, you can see that one too. Yeah, this one. Yeah. Okay, first of all, let's remove some cards using the Phillips screwdriver. And this is the video card. I'm disconnecting it. Well, unscrewing it first and then pulling it out. And this is a second audio card. This motherboard has onboard audio. So I don't know why the person who had this computer before me, I don't know why they got a second audio card, but I find that a little bit silly. But some applications, like using it as a sound machine or something like that, requires multiple audio outputs. So I guess they did it for that. But to pull a card from a computer, let's tip it over. You need to have some leverage on the outside, so I'm putting my finger beneath this socket. And also, be careful, because some components can be sharp and also they can be fragile, so don't force anything. That's very important. But I'm putting my finger here below the card and pulling it upward. Okay, This one went out very nicely. Yeah. Okay. This is, one moment, a Sound Blaster Live 5.1 audio card, so that has basically surround sound, a game port, some in and outputs, and etc. I don't know why they put it in. I'm pulling it out, saving it. I'm presuming it's okay. It looks okay. Oh, it's very dusty. And I'll tell you why. This all is dust. And now remember, I've blown this computer out with a compressor, yet there is dust. Now, what's awry? But, back to this card, I'm saving it. If somebody has a computer without proper onboard audio or a specific application, I can reuse it. Don't throw this stuff away. And if you do throw it away, take it to your, how should I call that in English? Well, that's a good question. Take it to your trash removal service that takes in like chemicals and such. It's a government type thing here in the Netherlands anyway. And then they get to recycle it. There's always a little bit of gold, there's a little bit of copper in this. And even if they don't recycle it, they store it or throw it away in an eco-friendly, nothing is ever safe, but at least an eco-friendly way. Okay, putting that to the side without getting dust everywhere. Okay, now AGP cards, PCI Express and etc. cards sometimes have locking devices, as does this one. So I'm unlocking it here, and once again I'm pulling below a socket, a bracket or whatever, and pulling it out. Now, as you can see here, there's a ventilator, and it's also covered in dust. This is not acceptable. If your video card has artifacts in screen or doesn't perform as expected or even comparable with another computer that has exactly the same card or just about, then it might be a heat problem. These things get very hot. It weighs a ton, well, not a ton, but it weighs a lot because of the aluminium type of cooling block. And there's a fan, and if that gets clogged up, and I've seen this, then you get weird things on screen. Your computer performance won't be good. And let's mate it to this one, and here you can see that. So it was like this, and then you can say there's no airflow going to that ventilator. So back. So that's not good. Okay, I'm keeping this video card for now. Well, I'm keeping it in this computer for now because, well, it has a nice DVI interface, but I don't have a normal regular type of computer. I can stick it in and use the DVI, and VGA is good enough for most of my applications. So putting it in, put it in straight, make sure it fits properly into the slot. So if it's like this, put it in straight, don't force it down, try to basically push it down very gently. Don't push on components like this. There's a little Elco, we call it here, capacitor. Don't push on that, push on the card itself, and you should hear some type of snap. And okay, I need to redo that because this computer case also has some type of protruding things, and this side has to be right on top of it. So, second time around should be good. Yeah. Okay. Here you go. You almost heard it snap. I'm closing the lock again, and there are many different types of locks. Sometimes they're all over the card, like a tie wrap type thing, but I'm going to screw this thing in, and that should be good. Okay, if you screw a card in, you need to, by the way, if the computer case allows it, you need to do that. Then don't push it that way, push it into the screw and screw down. That way the orientation of the card isn't forced any way except as it is intended downward. Okay, I'm going to put this over here, and the next thing is that I'm going to insert this card. But now you may ask where to put it. Into one of the 3 slots? Well, the slot we had the audio card in, we won't use. If you do, however, need to use it, I'm going to give you a little tip. If you need like an extra network card, this is not my favorite screwdriver. I should have grabbed this one, but okay. If you need to use the video card, yeah, can you see it? Yeah, here's the ventilator. Try to get a card that is not covering the ventilator. And modern network cards, okay, are very height limited. This is still a big one in this direction. You even have smaller ones, and then you can get away with putting such a card right next to the video card. It's not good for this card, but hey, if you need a 100 megabit per second network card, they're like €8. So if you break it in the end, and with limited lifespan, it's easy to replace. And if you do need the socket, do it like that, so insert that one to there. But we're not going to do that today. I'm going to show you another tricks. Well, one. Down here there is a special, let me tilt it over, yeah, there's a special bracket with USB connector, so that's this one, and a game port, but it isn't connected to an insertable card. It is connected via this cable to the motherboard, so it's an extension of the USB capability of the motherboard itself. Now you might be tempted to remove this. If you do, if you need the slots, and if you do remove it because it's blocking one, then keep it. Preferably outside of the computer. I sometimes use a trick and basically tie wrap it to some of this drive cage stuff. Don't do it if you don't need to, because it might foul up a ventilator, which is needed for cooling, but keep it, because these are sometimes hard to get specifically for a specific motherboard, especially if the motherboard is a bit older. So I can still use it, because I only am planning to use one network card for the moment in this computer, but I can move this thing around. And first it's loose, then I'm going to detach this cable. This is the audio cable from the CD drive. I can reattach it later, so putting it to the side, and I'm going to insert this one next to the video card. Okay, and screwing it down right away. Well, at least if it wants to. Yeah, Now normally one would logically mount it on the bottom row as it was. Well, there's another little interface card over there. That's also for onboard stuff. No. Once again, push it into the screw, and here I can see this cable isn't fouling any airflow. Well, it's round too, but it isn't fouling any airflow from the fan, so this is nicely placed. For the game port there is a flat cable, and I'm going to wrap it around and squinch it a bit so it stays that way, and here we go. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to show you the last, well, the bottom interface card. And that's why I don't understand why they got an extra audio, insertable audio card, because this interface has a composite audio out, SPDIF they call it, but it's like a tulip connector, and they also have an optical type. I think that the only thing, no, I don't know why. It's weird, but they thought they needed a second audio card. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to yeah, perhaps I shouldn't have screwed that out, but still. It's interesting stuff to see. Normally you would put these types of things in the bottom row, but I don't if I have like this type of video card with such a big cooling block and a fan. Sometimes they're passively cooled, so you don't need to. But that's that. We can reinsert this one, but first let's take a look at the cables that are here. I told you that there wasn't a hard drive in here, and I'm not going to reuse another hard drive with an IDE interface. So I'm going to pull this thing out, pull it out straight, don't bend it. If it doesn't want to get out, get somebody to help you who's more knowledgeable, because these types of things can ruin your computer. Okay, putting that to the side. I have a floppy drive cable here. I'm going to detach that, and that's in preparation for installing the hard drives in this drive cage. And then I'm going to relocate. It's not necessary. Shall I? Yeah, I shall. Relocate this cable that is attached to the DVD drive and the CD burner to the primary master IDE interface. And at the moment I'm not sure for what purpose the CD-ROM drive will. Okay, and insert it also straight. If it doesn't want to go in, you probably are trying to put it in wrong, because yeah, there is a little lip here, so you can't put it in the wrong way round. If it doesn't want to go in, try it the other way round. And these are not universally pluggable. One goes into the motherboard, and the others, if there are two, go into the devices, the CD-ROM drives or a hard drive, but not with these CD-ROMs. Okay, now I'm going to keep the audio, little audio card here in the bottom slot, so it's blocking one IDE interface. Then I'm going to insert this card, that's a SCSI controller, so that will provide connectivity for SCSI type hard drives, like you have serial ATA and SCSI and all types. I have two of those drives, SCSI drives, over there. I'm going to insert them in a moment, but first let's get this card in here. Once again, try to push it in straight. And it seems in there, but it isn't properly, so pulling it out. Second try. Don't force anything. Yeah, and there you have a little click. Don't count on the click. See, validate. See if the bracket here is flush with the case. And be gentle. Don't bend components. If you do, throw the card out, because it might, well, to be frank, like the video card here with the other card, the audio card next to it, it could have caught fire with enough dust and heat build up in there. You don't want to burn down your house now, do you? So here we have this, putting in the screw. This might be a little bit of a boring video with me going bonkers, trying to tell you everything I learned at school. Well, yeah, I did. So now we have the network card left. It's a nice Freecom, let me check the type, 3C905CX-TXM. So it's a 1000 megabit half duplex, full duplex card. It's fine for this machine, for this moment. So also putting that in, I'm pushing down and wow, yeah, okay, I heard a click. Once again, don't count on the click. You might hear it, you might not, but it's in there now. So pulling the bracket into the screw and screwing down. So checking it over. This is in, this is in. Floppy drive. Yeah, I'm going to reattach this little cable for now. To be frank, I have no usage for it, but let's keep it with the machine. And okay, it's a funny one. It's below the network card. So let's get that out for a moment. You know, sometimes if you're building custom computers, it's finicky, fiddly, time-consuming work. You might earn a buck with it. Reinstalling something like this is, well, if you do a custom job without any pre-baked images, computer guys know what I mean, then it does take a little bit of time, effort, and therefore it will cost money. That's why most older computers don't get reused but just thrown away. But still, so if it's a good computer and it has life left in it, you can reuse it even if you don't use it every day. Put something like Linux on it and keep it for the kids. Okay, that's in there. The other one is in there, that's good. Cable runs through. Okay, we have power connectors here. Let's check those out. Yeah, that's good. Okay. We have one cable tree. Well, it's an entire tree, but one branch has two Molex connectors for 3.5 inch drives. Here we have a branch with 2 modems and 1 for the floppy drive. And here we have another one. I'm going to disconnect this. And I'll tell you in a moment why. Okay, don't pull. I just did it wrong, but I'm used to doing this stuff and I'm not forcing it, but always grab it like this and don't force it. Very gently pull it out. If you can't, get somebody to help. Don't use something like liquid wrench or a WD-40. You might short out components to the computer. It might burst into flames. Never use any oil types on a computer if it's stuck. That doesn't work. You're better busting such a connector and getting it replaced at a reputable computer shop than risking fire. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to connect these two. And let's see. The burner is the bottom one. So this might seem a little bit silly, especially since the cables will be a little bit taut. But yeah, here, yeah, it's loose enough. But I'm plugging in the CD burner first from the power supply. If you follow the cable, it will most likely take the most power. The second one is the DVD drive. It doesn't burn, so it will use less power, my estimation at least. It's women logic, a little joke. But the third device is the floppy drive. I won't use it in all likelihood ever, so I'm connecting it. It should be connected so you can use it if you need to, but that's the third one. Now these two will be used in conjunction with, oh, I'm disconnecting this for now, by the way. I'm using these two branches separately, each on one hard drive, to ensure they get as clean a power within the computer as is possible. If there are questions for that, I can answer them. Let's just skip that for now. This is a drive cage, an internal drive cage that's screwed in, well, bolted in, or should I say locked with a screw, and it comes out with this handle here. Pull it and then lift it and turn it out. So there's the floppy drive we saw earlier, and yeah, if you can see, there are letters stamped into the metal, and it states FDD for floppy drive and HDD for hard disk drive. So you know what holes to line up. I'm putting it on a relatively secure relatively secure space, so I can work on it. Grabbing the drives. Now, don't touch these components. You have oil on your hands and these things don't like heat at all. I'm doing this. Well, I don't know if you can see, but the top cover I'm running over my jeans to get a nice mirror finish. No dust, no oils. Okay. And now the orientation of the floppy drive, it was, the top one is like this. So the drives, I have to turn it around, should go in like this. Yeah. And here I see HDD, and here I see FNH. They shorthanded it, but you can see that it doesn't go in all the way, and that's because this sticks out beyond this baffled, so you can exit it, have it flush with the outside of the computer case. Okay. With the other drive, I'm going to show you something you have to watch. That is, these screw holes are sometimes differently threaded than other ones. And if you can see this, I'm trying to turn it in. It does go a bit, and then it stops. It won't go any further than this. Now, if that happens, get your computer screws that you saved from the last time you repaired something, or got a component, put it in. Save screws, always save them. They come in handy. But if you have this, unscrew it right away. Don't force it in, because you have the wrong size. Let's see, and I've got a couple of different ones because I'm running out of these type of screws. But here, this will go without effort. Let's show you. Almost entirely into the computer. Well, you can't even see that it's not entirely, because there's a little stop block somewhere in there to ensure you don't use screws that are too long. But get the proper size threaded screws, don't force it. If your life would depend on it, then you can, but you won't be able to properly secure the hard drive in the long run with swaps and etc. So, I'm screwing this in. Don't overscrew it at this point. And this is another one. It's rounded. As long as the thread is the same, they're not too long, and they're not too long. And I've over tightened this one. Then you can use them. Now line up the holes on one side. Okay. Be careful with this because they're so. Flip it over, and with this computer you can attach them on both sides. Sometimes, in some instances, you'll have another system for installing hard drives, like in the custom cases. You have these screws, but you slide it in with some type of locking tab like this is. And you once again need to look at the manual of the computer case. I'm talking like computers from Dell or some place like that. I've put them in, flip them back over, now secure them properly, hand tight, properly hand tight. So, and now for the second drive. You might ask why I'm using two drives in this machine. Don't fall. No. I don't like. That's the second drive. I'm once again going to run the top over my jeans. Don't do it if your jeans are dirty. It's here, mirror image almost. Mirror surface. But installing two drives has a big advantage. You can use a RAID level, and that basically means having identical data on both disks, while the computer can understand and read and write to and from both disks. Linux has a software implementation of that. And that's very handy. It ensures that your data doesn't get lost if one of the drives is corrupted. And since this computer might be on for a while, if I'm going to use it like as a router or something like that, software type router. I do that from time to time, handy. But then I like to have complete install software, all files I put it in it, any configurations I made. I like to have it on 2 identical hard drives to ensure that if one fails, I know I'll have some time to fix it, because it's still operational, at least in a limited sense. Now, I seem to have lost one screw. I'm hoping this is the right one, but I'm almost sure it isn't. It is. Good. Yeah. Also securing these. So, and then it's solidly in there. They're both in here solidly. So I'm going to reinsert this bracket, drive cage, however you want to call it, and this is a bit finicky. I have a slot where this lip has to go in, while there is a slot here, and this thing is held in here. So yeah. Okay. Now. Okay. And because the plastic is plastic, it wouldn't go right, so I have to pop it in there. And now I seem to have lost a screw. Okay. I know what happened. So, getting it out. It's this one. Last one we put in here. Yeah. And if you're still here, I'm very proud, because then I'm making interesting stuff. And here you see that even I, as a computer professional, sometimes make mistakes. So I used a screw that is much too small, as I warned you about. Okay. I hope the thread is still good in there. I have to coax it out. Yeah. Whoa. Put a screwdriver, a flathead under it. Try to help it out when unscrewing. Yeah, it's out. It's in the computer, but I can see it. Now where to get a proper screw. Yeah, this one. Okay, first let's get that one out. So, have it here. This one is the right thread. So let's hope that I haven't cross-threaded it, which might be the case. It's good. Very nice. Inserting it once again. Insert it the right way round. And it's like this. Okay. Use the wrongly used screw in the right place now. And here you can hear it click, so it's the thread beneath that, that's basically sheet metal It's not good, but it will hold on. Good enough for now. Now take a look at this. Okay, you can't see it very well, but here is the interface for a flat cable, here too, and these are the power connectors. So, let's see. Eeny, miny, mo. We'll do these in a moment. I'm going to connect this weird looking cable. This is not IDE, this is SCSI. I'm going to connect them to drives. Excuse me. Yeah. Okay, they're on there. Put that to the side. Then, this is always a bit of a nuisance, getting it hooked up properly. Inserting the power cables, one in the bottom, one in the top. And remember, we selected the two connector type, and even using just one. So the feeding cable doesn't have to deliver power to any other components than the individual hard drives. Now we're going to insert this, over here onto this SCSI card. And does this look good? No, I don't like it. The fan here needs to be at least a bit uncluttered for airflow, so I'm going to do it like this. Am I content with that? Yes, I am. Okay. So, power connectors. Now we still need to reattach the floppy drive cable. And let's see. Insert this one. Okay. Here you see I haven't done this in quite a while. And then I'm going to guess this way round. I'll check it out. I have a couple of floppy drives left. Floppies left. You can check it out. That's proper that way. Clean up the cables a bit. No. Not happy with that either. So inserting it down so. Here you can see why rounded cables are nice to use, because this is sometimes a pain in the behind. Okay. I might decide to remove these drives. They're not, if I'm using this as a router, they're not required. So I can remove them and reuse them in other computers. Can use them as spares. For now they're fine here. Computer case is protecting my spares. So even if I don't use them, it doesn't matter. But you can see the rounded cables, like these, are much nicer for this type of application. Doesn't constrict airflow. And I've seen machines with many hard drives, still tower models, not professional server type computers, but with many hard drives that get a performance boost from in airflow. So the airflow goes around better when you replace these flat types with rounded cables. But let's double check our work. We swapped, well, we removed this card, no longer needed. We've notice there's a ventilator on the video card. We placed a USB connection extension bracket from down there to up here. We put in the network card, and we put in a SCSI drive controller, and you're out of frame, so that's here, the SCSI drive controller and the network card. We've installed these two hard drives, disconnected most of the cables that can be connected and disconnected for these types of things, and reconnected them. So now it's time to put on the cover, and well, you'll have to trust me that this will work, because I'm not going to show you how it runs. This stuff we did is basic computer operation, well, repair and etc. They do it at a computer shop. You can do it at home if you're comfortable enough and proficient enough not to stuff it up. Don't break components, be careful, remove dust. Okay, let's talk about that one for a moment, because that is important. When you're done with your computer, don't put it on the ground, don't put it back on the ground, set it onto a desk, a table next to the computer desk. Don't put it on the ground. These things are magnets for dust. Dust comes in around the hard drives, your hard drives will fail earlier. Dust goes through the entire computer with the air that's running around in here, goes into the CPU fan, into the cooling block beneath that, goes into the video card fan if you have one, breaks that thing, and also goes through the PSU, the power supply unit. And one moment. So, and breaks everything. I've seen computers with 3 to 4 centimeters of dust caked around components that have fans, and because they were very well built computers, they didn't break entirely, but they were most likely doomed to fail. And to be frank, dust in the computer is a fire hazard. This video card will get very hot. The drives won't. 60-70 degrees Celsius, well, sometimes more. Depends on the brand, the type, and how much usage you have from it. Once again, try to get the cables out of the fan, but especially CPU, that's hot. And if it's caked with dust, it will malfunction. So use compressed air to blow it out, not full blast like 4 to 5 bars. From a distance, if it doesn't come off, use a brush, not a hard brush, but a painter's brush, soft type, and also blow inside of the power supply unit, inside out, because if you do it outside in, through the grate here, through this grate, you'll blow it in the computer. That's not handy. Sometimes you need to because it's caked here, but normal usage won't give much dust, but a bit. Get it out and get it onto a desk. Also, when you've done stuff like this, test drive it for a couple of hours. Putting this back on. I normally put it in a safe space, spot it in my house or at office. There's not much around, so I can hear all the fans working, or not working properly, so I know that I need to replace them. But I keep them on for at least a day, running after installing them, and taxing them a little bit with some tools I can use for that, software. And if they're good after that, I put them into what we call in the IT business production. So for you guys, that would be, I would give them back to you if you gave me such a computer to fix, and then I would give them back to you and say it's fine, you can use it. I would still say keep an eye on it for a week or two. If you go to sleep, shut down the machine. One moment. Pardon me. Because still, once again, there's a lot of power in here. It creates heat. Sometimes connectors aren't connected that well, so you get sparks. And, well, you can burn your house down and people can get hurt or even killed. So it is a profession, fixing computers. I know, went to school for it. But not only computers, of course, but networks and everything surrounding that. But if you're uncomfortable with this, don't do it. And safety first. Let's say that, safety first. So disconnect it. When disconnect the power. So at least this, preferably every connector, every cable disconnected. Then you can work on it. Make sure you do it properly. If you are done, close the computer. Always close the computer when you put power on it. And take a look at it. Keep it on for like half a day. When you're there, after that, only keep it on in the first 2 weeks. During the day, when you're not sleeping and you're still there, but then you don't have to watch it that closely. If it doesn't fail, if it doesn't catch fire, then I guess you're good. Okay, but it's your responsibility, and I'm going to keep it at that. Oh shit, my little crocodile. So, yeah, let's get back into frame. So, that's that. It's a long video. I have no idea how long I've been at it. I think half an hour at least. And I have somebody at the door. So, have a great day. Hope this helped. If not, get your computer to an IT professional, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.